Hello everyone, Ben from Obungus here, and I thought it would be cool today. I wanted to make a video. I've been wanting to make a video like this for a while, but I didn't know if anybody was gonna care because I don't know how many people care about like the production side of our music, but I wanted to make this video for a while, and I asked on Instagram on the Obungus account, and it looks like a couple people wanted to see it, so it's pretty cool. So in this video, I'm going to break down how I made Dumpster Boy. So just a little context for Dumpster Boy. This is a song, normally Obungus writes all their songs together, but this song I wrote it by myself just because I wanted to try something new. And, you know, it's not really like, it doesn't really sound like what Obungus usually writes, which I think is cool because I wanted to kind of experiment and see what you guys would like, and if you guys like the type of sound I was going for with this song. And it came out pretty good. I liked it, and seems like you guys like it too. So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you guys for all your support on that song. You know, it really means a lot that because it's kind of scary when you try to do something new for an audience that is already kind of used to your sound. And so it's good that, you know, when I switched it up just a little bit, you know, people still liked it. And so thank you guys so much for that. I want to show like the gear I used, like the instruments, and, you know, kind of just break down just in case anybody who's watching is looking to like try to make their own music or something and needs a little bit of help. But, and I'm not really like a professional or anything, but if you get like a little bit of something out of this video, that's cool. You know, you can just see what we do, and maybe you can try it yourself, maybe you'll learn something. But yeah, so I'm gonna go over all the gear we used, and yeah, that's pretty much all I'm gonna do for this first part. So number one thing that is important is you need to have a DAW. And what a DAW is just a fancy acronym for digital audio workstation. And what that is like if you have like a MacBook or any type of computer, you most likely have a program. It's called GarageBand, and that's basically where you go and you work and do all your music in there. So you need that. For us, we use Logic Pro, and it is a little bit expensive, sorry, but you know, it's worth it if you are really trying to pursue music and take it a little bit more serious. So yeah, Logic Pro, that's what the DAW we used. Two is the guitar I used. I like playing a lot of different types of guitars. In a previous video, I actually built an ES335 style guitar with my dad, but for this song, I wanted something more poppy, so I used the Fender Strat. So let me show you that real quick. So this is a Fender Strat. It's probably one of the most popular guitars ever made, you know, in the history of the world. So yeah. It's Fender Strat. Number three is the audio interface. So the audio interface that we use is called the Tascam US 16x8 or 08, I don't know, but you can plug in multiple stuff. This is what it looks like. It's a pretty hefty piece of gear, but yeah, this is where you plug in all your mics and stuff and your guitars, or if you use like amp simulators or something like that. And so yeah, and then I just use this. It's the MacBook, or the Mac, well, I think it's, yeah, whatever, the laptop version. Number four, which is pretty much the brains of the operation, is the Microlab Arteria Smart Keyboard Controller. And this is perfect if you're trying to do stuff like for synth pop, or if you're trying to use like any type of synthesizers, if you want to make something that kind of sounds more like 80s. You know, most DAWs come with instruments that you can use and program them with these type of things. Because also, if you're in a DAW, you can also use your computer, like the computer's keyboard. But most of the time, people either use it for like drums or something. So sometimes when you're banging on the keyboard a lot, you could like mess it up or something. So it's always good to have one of these, which this is called a MIDI controller. And basically, I think it has like 2 octaves, and then you can play like different stuff on the keyboard, and then it'll like tell the computer what to do, you know. So that's what I use. That's why when you hear all the sounds, like I'm gonna get into all the sounds and stuff, but when you hear all these sounds like that's the keyboard. And also, most keyboards come with software as well, like different sounds that they come with. So you can also use those. You know, take advantage of the stuff, man. You know, it's good. They're there for a reason, so use it. Oh yeah, and also another thing I forgot to say was some people ask what microphone we use. Like I got a couple questions like that sometimes. We used to use this microphone. I don't remember where I put it. Oh, it's right here. This microphone, it was about $50. It's called the MXL 550. But then we upgraded to, it's called the Bluebird. This is the old version of it. I got it used for like right around $100. I know they sell like a newer version of it for like $300, but that was like an old version, and it was also used, so it was a good deal. But yeah, that's the microphone we use. All right, so let's get into the actual like project. With most of Bungus songs, like I said, a lot of it begins on the guitar, and then we kind of just work around it. It'll add like, we'll add like bass and then guitar and then maybe like some melodies and stuff from the, but primarily it's always on the guitar. And so I wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit. So right here you guys can see it says powered to piano, and so I use this MIDI keyboard, and I played these notes, so it went. You know, so just soloed by itself, this is kind of what it sounded like. It was pretty dry. I'll turn up the monitors a little bit, but this is what it sounded like. Like that. There's a little bit of reverb on it to kind of make it sound spacey, and yeah. So I was just playing that right here, the dun 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 dun. You know, so that's kind of how it started, and then that was like the little rhythm. So I built it like that, and then I added these drums to it. So these are just like one of Logic's like stock drums, which I also played on the keyboard, and sounds like this. So pretty dry drum sound, but you know, it sounded cool. And then before I added all the synths and stuff, this is kind of what it sounded like, you know, all together. But I thought to myself, like, it sounds kind of like boring, like lame, so I wanted to add an element of a synthesizer in there, like a little like lead part. And so I found this instrument called Dreamy Bells, right here, which is muted right now because I want to show you what it sounded like before. But Dreamy Bells sounds like this. And then under that, I had a couple guitars that I layered. So one of them was going left, one of them was going right, so it's kind of like a stereo effect. And there's not really that much to it, you know, because the guitars actually, these, I don't know if you guys know who Stevie T is, but he's this guy. And Stevie T is kind of like a goofy guy, but he did like a partnership with this company called ML Sound Lab. And these are actually his amps, see? So that's what I'm using. And then I just added some distortion to it and stuff, see? Some fuzz. And so the guitars together, they sound like this, watch. And that was kind of the rhythm guitar. And then after that, the bass, just simple bass line, just a stock bass amp simulator. It's just a little bit of compression and distortion on it to make it sound kind of crispy or crunchy, I guess. So yeah. And then in terms of the entire mix, there was something I felt that was missing even after all the synths and stuff were like put in. And so I decided to add an arpeggiator, which is an arpeggiator is basically an instrument, a type of instrument that plays rhythms in like a sequence, and so it kind of just will always just play in the background, and you don't have to really program it that hard, because when you play it, it's meant to just already have like a rhythm set into it. So that's why in the background you can kind of hear a little like because it gives a little bit of texture. Okay, it sounds like this. And it's just following the root notes. So together with the sounds like that. And so all together, this is basically what the intro sounded like. Probably one of our heaviest songs. And then in terms of vocal production, you guys can see I stacked a lot of vocals because I wanted it to sound cool, you know, like big vocals. And so in the beginning, it kind of starts out like, you know, sweet, and you know the lyrics are like romantic. It's a love song, so. And you know, the verse, like the vocals on it, actually a little secret that you guys, if you use Logic, you should all use, is that I don't know if you guys know this, but Billie Eilish's older brother, his name's Phineas. You guys know him, but he actually released the project that he used for Billie's song Ocean Eyes, and so I actually just kind of used some of his like presets and stuff. You know, I changed them a little bit to work with our song, but you know the compressor and like the limiter and stuff, like they're all like pretty good. So like, you know, use what you have, you know. But this is what the vocals sound like.
Put your hair up with clips shaped like butterflies. Is it so wrong of me to?
Sorry about that, system overload.
Wanna see in your eyes.
And so yeah, the vocals are basically like a little bit of tune to give it that pop sound. But you know, what are you gonna do? You know, sue me. Actually, don't sue me. And then also a cool trick that you can do, which I think people have talked about before who use Logic, but there's this thing called the flex pitch. And so whenever I feel like lazy and I don't want to do my harmonies, you can actually manipulate the original vocal. You make a new channel and then you turn on the flex pitch, and then you can actually move each individual. Oh, sorry about that. You can actually use the flex pitch to manipulate each individual note, because what it does is it takes your vocal and then it converts it to MIDI notes. And you know, MIDI notes are just it's just basically notes. Basically turns your voice into like a robot, basically a computer. And you can manipulate each note. So if you sing like ha, it'll take ha ha ha, and it'll make it individual notes, and then you can manipulate, like if you want ha ha, you know, you can like move it and it sounds cool. And if you add like a lot of autotune on it, you can make some like pretty interesting stuff. So let me show you an example instead of just talking about it. But first, let me turn off all these microphone things so we don't have that feedback. That's embarrassing. But yeah, here's what I mean. Like during the chorus, the vocals are really stacked. So here, I'll play the vocals by itself.
Come closer to me. I don't wanna see you leave. No,
like that. See, so right here where it says chorus harmony, you can see this little blue thing that's turned on. That's actually the flex pitch editor. And so here's what I mean. So it'll take basically your vocal, and you can manipulate it to make it sound cool. And so that's basically what I did for some of these tracks. So like right here, just to make it sound cool. So I sang these two normally.
Wanna feel you whispering, and I wanna feel you kissing me.
And then I sang, or I just took these and I basically flex pitched them and it makes it sound like this.
Wanna feel you whispering, and I wanna feel you kissing me.
So then together it sounds like this.
Come closer to me. I don't wanna see you leave. No, I wanna feel you whispering, and I wanna feel you kissing me. There's some things I never said. Wish I told you what they meant. I'll leave you with a piece of me, and
So yeah, you know, a lot of the times when I'm doing harmonies like that, you know, sometimes if I'm feeling really lazy, I'll just do that. But most of the time, I just sing it because it's faster. But for this particular song, like kind of sticking with the theme of making it sound a little bit different, I I just did that because it sounds a little bit more poppy and indie or whatever, you know. So yeah. And then I wanted to talk about this as well. If you go down to all the way to the bridge right here. Oh no, wait. Bridge. No, wait. Yeah, bridge right here. You know, like I said, Obungus usually keeps the guitars in their music, and so I wanted to keep at least like a little bit of guitar in there. So during the bridge, there's a little breakdown part where I'm playing this guitar right here, and that's actually just a stock Logic amp, and so I like the way it sounded, so I used it. And so it's basically just a little part to segue into the bridge. And then after that, I used a cool synth that kind of sounded like a really overly compressed guitar with like a bunch of like chorus and distortion on it. And so yeah, it basically builds up to this. And then the arpeggiator comes back. Yeah. Right? And then dramatic pause. And then I open up the hi-hats. So actually that part, at first I wasn't even gonna add this synth. This synth, this is the synth. It goes. But at first it was just a guitar. It was just a really like distorted guitar. It was kind of like just like a solo. So without the synth, it sounded like this. Watch. But it wasn't dramatic enough, you know? It needed to be dramatic. It's a love song, you know? So it needed to be dramatic. And so I added the synth, and it kind of it added texture. It added like it added a little emotion, because it was like, it's it's like it's synth, it sounds cool. And then especially when the drums kind of open up a little bit more, like the hi-hat, it even adds like more like urgency to go back into the chorus. So it goes. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire song. I mean, there's not really that much to it. I think it was a simple song, and in terms of like lyrics, it's a love song. I mean, I called it Dumpster Boy. Maybe some of you guys had questions what that meant, but Dumpster Boy, it's just like an inside joke between me and a couple friends, and so it's a love song, and it's pretty much all there is to it. It's about when you like someone and they're leaving, and you don't want them to go. That's basically what it's about. Relatable. But yeah, I hope maybe you guys learned something from this. I didn't want to get too like technical, because I feel like people would think that's boring. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the video, and hopefully you guys liked it. I've never done a video like this before, so maybe it's interesting for some of you guys. But yeah. Like I said, I didn't want to get too like technical and like talk about like compressors and limiters and EQ and stuff, because people don't really care about that. But here's a song. That's Dumpster Boy. So with that being said, okay, see ya.